And we continue at 1:06 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
John, as I mentioned, I spent 4 hours listening to Gavin Newsom's appearance on the Sean Ryan podcast. And here's another fun fact I learned. According to Gavin, all of Elon Musk's success is because of California.
By the way, biggest contributor to his success was California. It was our regulations that created Tesla. Had we not done the tailpipe emission regulation, he would not have the certainty of investment. And it was our tax policy that flooded him with billions and billions of dollars of subsidies. That guy was losing money but making money reselling tax credits.
Wow.
That was what a gift it was for him. I mean, he's a bloody genius. I'm with you, man.
Bloody?
Well, he is when the Secretary of Treasury punches him.
But wait a second. I've never heard an American in an American accent use that term.
Bloody genius. I'm with you, man.
No, usually it's in a pub somewhere in the United Kingdom, and it's being used by some guy with a pint in front of him.
That was what a gift it was for him. I mean, he's a bloody genius. I'm with you, man.
Gavin is a weird guy.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. It is our pleasure to welcome our next guest to the program. She is the editor of the California Globe. You can read her online at californiaglobe.com and follow her on X at Katy Citizen. Katy Grimes, welcome.
Thank you, John. Good to be with you.
Well, thanks so much for stopping by. And this 4-hour interview of Gavin Newsom, now that he's trying to present himself to the rest of the nation as being the Democratic Party's standard bearer and answer to Donald Trump, was wild. Not only did he claim that Elon Musk is successful because of the state of California, he also claimed that he was doing what Donald Trump told him to do during the COVID-19 lockdowns, and that Florida was the state that was really shut down, and that California was not. He's also claiming that he is a hawk when it comes to retail theft. Let's listen to what Gavin Newsom had to say about that.
But they're right about organized retail theft. They're right about these punks coming in and smashing and grabbing. Every single one of those sons of bitches should be arrested. I've been saying that consistently. I'm a merchant, man. You smash my window? No. I don't care about your childhood. I care about my damn deductible and my insurance rates.
Did you ever think you would see this kind of reinvention?
No, this is like alternate universe reinvention, John. And if Gavin Newsom is a merchant, I'm the Queen of England. This is such pathetic reinvention. I mean, I've written articles titled "Gavin Newsom is running from Gavin Newsom," because the universe we live in California is what you talk about, what you write about, what I write about. And he wasn't taking orders from President Trump during COVID at all, obviously, since we were locked down for 3 long years and our kids were out of school for over 2. I don't think he can run. I don't think he can run from his reputation, despite the fact that podcasters aren't poking back.
You and I obviously don't believe him because we live here and we understand the reality. But will Democratic voters believe him? And I say that because we live in such partisan times where for most Democratic voters, as long as you sufficiently hate Donald Trump, you're okay with them. And they're willing to believe just about anything that comes out of your mouth because you're obviously a truthful person because you hate Donald Trump. Are Democratic voters going to believe that he is a hawk on retail theft and that he left the state open when Florida, in reality, shut down, and that Elon Musk is only successful because of Gavin Newsom? I think they will believe that.
Well, I think Democrat voters in California would believe it. I certainly don't think Democrat voters in Florida or even Texas or, some of the other big populous states will, because that information was out there during COVID also. I talked to people in lots of other states during COVID was going on, and people were like what lockdown? What are you talking about? Because they weren't experiencing it the way we were, other than, say, New York and other lefty states. The other thing, John, that I don't think people, Democrats obviously have a strained relationship with the truth, in that if they could vote for Gavin Newsom, but I think people just find him incredibly unlikable, and kind of just there's this sleazy thing about him that we certainly see in many parts of the media, not just the parts that that are on the right.
Let's say that Gavin sticks with this storyline, and this is the new Gavin Newsom. This is how he's going to present himself to the nation, that he's a guy who wants to lock up retail theft crime rings. He's the guy that wants to leave the state open during COVID. He's the guy that doesn't want transgender athletes participating in girls' sports. That may sell well in a general election in places like Pennsylvania and Georgia, but it's not going to sell well with the Democratic caucus in the state legislature, in both houses of the state legislature. What do you think is going to happen to his relationship with them if he keeps going on these national programs, on these national platforms, and saying those sorts of things that maybe Democratic voters might be buying, but they certainly don't believe him? They certainly know the reality of what he has advocated for, and he is, in a sense, putting his thumb in their eye by making these claims.
Yeah, of course he is. I also think it shows you that, as I just said, he's certainly got a strained relationship with the truth, but we already knew that. The California legislature is, to the left of the lefties in Congress, and so I don't think they appreciate him, going out there trying to present this facelift Gavin Newsom. I don't know. I think all they care about is a win, frankly. At least our legislature. I'm not sure. He's not popular with them to begin with. So I don't know if it's going to make that much of a difference to them.
You say that he's not popular with Democrats in the legislature, and I'm always curious about that statement because I've heard it time and time again from any number of people, including Republicans in the state legislature. The answer I used to get was that it didn't really have much to do with public policy. It had to do with him basically running them over, him issuing edicts to them and expecting them to put it in legislation and give it to him so he could sign, and him just really not personally treating them very well. He sees himself as a political celebrity. He sees them as playing in the minor leagues, and they don't have much day-to-day contact with him. They certainly can't get FaceTime with him if they need to talk to him about a bill or a policy proposal or those sorts of things, whereas they could do that with Jerry Brown and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now they have no access. But it seems like this is evolving where personally they don't like him because of how they're treated on that level. But now if there are policy disagreements between them and him, that's just going to throw salt in the wound.
I agree with you entirely there, and everything you just stated is correct. He's just tonally inaccessible to lawmakers. It's been a huge problem. There have been nothing but edicts coming from his office. What I do think would matter is that if there are some pet bills that the Democrats in the legislature have really pushed through, and that if he thinks it's going to damage his national reputation and doesn't sign something or puts it on hold until he's out of office, I could see that being a huge problem for them.
What do you make of Gavin trying to reinvent himself on social media with his various accounts where he is going after national conservatives, he's going after members of the state legislature, and he's going after them in a really bitchy sort of way? Like whenever Gavin talks, he always sounds like this gentry class winemaker. We know how Gavin speaks. He speaks in a very strange way, but it is consistent with the character that is Gavin Newsom. And now all of a sudden he has these different press accounts on Twitter where it's supposed to be him and his team clapping back at what he believes to be untruths or claims that are made about him or his performance in California that are not entirely accurate. But it's so bitchy. It's almost like you're listening to someone trying to get laughs at drag queen bingo or something, where it's not consistent with the person that we know, but intended to get likes and clicks and play on social media. Every time I read a tweet that comes out of one of those accounts, I say to myself, they're flying real close to the sun. And at some point, it may be funny to a bunch of 20-year-olds in an office or whoever it is that has the passwords to his accounts, but they're going to get him in big trouble with how reckless they are on social media now.
I agree. These same people come after me frequently, not always on social media, but demanding I retract this or that article because it's full of lies. These people are very, very bitchy. One of them is his deputy director of rapid response, Brandon Richards, him. They are going to get him in trouble. And you're right. These responses they're childish to begin with. But they are extremely bitchy, and I also think they're falling prey to the latest we've seen out of DC Democrats, where to relate to the people you need to swear more often. So I think they're all kind of playing that game, like that's what their voters want to hear. One
of the tweets referred to Assemblyman Joe Patterson as a, quote, bald little man.
Yes. Yeah. Two can play that game, although I don't think Joe Patterson's going to sink that low. They're petty. They're again, they're just childish and nasty. And somebody's going to fight back, and it's not going to be very pretty.
Well, and here's what's so strange to me about it is, typically, when a politician is trying to reinvent themselves and a politician is trying to put themselves out there as the next version of an electable Democrat nationally, what he was trying to do was he was trying to say, I'm Gavin Newsom. I'm above it all. I am someone who practices civility. I am someone who is willing to talk to Charlie Kirk or Stephen Bannon or Michael Savage or people on the other side of the aisle. I'm willing to go on Fox News with Sean Hannity and start a dialogue. And I am the one who can go to these swing states and talk to these Trump voters and get these Trump voters to vote for the Democratic candidate this time around. Well, if that's what you're putting out there, and then you have the ghost of Paul Lynn running your Twitter account and running your social media pages, being as bitchy as humanly possible to everyone that you interact with, you're sending mixed signals.
Well, it's remember the movie The Many Faces of Eve? We are seeing the many faces of Gavin. They will try whatever works. And as long as it doesn't have necessarily Gavin's signature on it, thus the multiple X accounts, I think he thinks that puts some distance between his public persona on podcasts and television versus whoever's running his social media. I don't think so. I think all of it makes him look foolish and childish and like the petty little person he is, but at least we're seeing the many faces of Gavin.
At what point do you think the Democrats in Sacramento are going to start to clap back at him? Because he is now a lame duck. Most of them are going to outlast him. His ability to punish them is now relatively limited. He's ignoring them and insulting them and attacking their policy proposals and their ideology right and left. At what point do they start to go after him?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. There's so little leadership inside the legislature these days. Trying to cover them is like herding cats right now. There's like no one or two leaders on the Democrat side doing anything that shows any size of cohesiveness. So you might see some individual lawmakers go after Gavin, but I don't see Democrat caucuses going after him as a team, as a caucus.
There is no more iconic California brand that exists than In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger, of course, made national news I believe it was last summer, when they announced that they would be closing their location on the Hagenberger in Oakland, not because it wasn't profitable, not because it was something they wanted to do, but because they could not ensure the safety of their customers or their employees, and they felt that it was so dangerous that they couldn't, in good conscience, ask people to work there or to spend their money there, so they decided to just shut it down. At the time, Gavin Newsom was campaigning on behalf of Grampy Joe in South Carolina, and he got on a plane and came right back to California to try to put that fire out. This weekend, Lindsay Snyder, who is the owner of In-N-Out Burger, it's not a company like McDonald's, which has franchisees. She owns everything from the plants where they make the beef to the brick and mortar stores. She said that they would be closing their headquarters in Irvine and moving them to the state of Tennessee. She basically said it's now very difficult to raise a family here. She has to do this to keep her employees happy. Her employees wanted her to move the headquarters out of state, and that's exactly what she's doing. She also said that California is not business friendly and other states are, and she never thought that she would expand to places like Tennessee, but they forced her out. That is not a good look for Gavin Newsom. He has yet to clap back at her. Do you think he's going to pick a fight with her?
I don't. You'll notice there's been absolute silence since this announcement was made on the podcast. And she joins other major companies fleeing or have fled the state. Chevron, SpaceX, Oracle, Hewlett-Packard, Charles Schwab, Toyota. This is all on Gavin Newsom's watch also. So he and his rapid response team can try to clap back on this, but the facts are there. The details are there. If he picks a fight with her, I would be shocked, absolutely shocked. He has no room to complain about what she's talking about.
Last question before you go. A lot of these businesses are hesitant to criticize Newsom or his performance. She is not. She's playing with the cards face up. She said that she shut down the Oakland location because of crime and that she's moving out of state because of the business climate here. So she is not trying to take the sting off of the truth. Are you surprised that she is willing to do that when so many of the men in particular are not?
No, and God love her for this. Let me tell you, I think some of the other businesses that just try to quietly leave the state or shut down certain operations are also very heavily regulated by California. She is much less so regulated. She's not in the oil and gas industry. She's, not manufacturing vehicles. So I don't think she faces the same agency regulations and retributions that she might. I'm not taking anything away from her guts. I love what she said. But I think, say, companies like Chevron and Valero and Phillips 66 still have so much of a presence here in the state that they have to be careful.
Katy Grimes, editor of the California Globe. You can read her excellent reporting online at californiaglobe.com and follow her on X at Katy Sack Citizen. Katy Grimes, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you, John.
If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
Al writes in, listening in from the Port of Oakland. Gavin's going full Dirty Harry. He's going to run as the enforcer in 2028. Shangy likes that, so let's hear it in her sultry, dirty streets glory.
That's right. I like that. That was amazing.
And Randy, if you missed the first hour and you want to find out just exactly what Karen Bass had to say to the nation over the weekend, that's easy to do.
All you got to do is search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcast, whether it's the Apple Podcasts app.
Hell yeah.
The iHeartRadio app.
No.
Spotify.
Doctor.
Search for The John Phillips Show. Hit subscribe. You could download all the episodes. You could do a Google on the YouTube.
Oh, you're so optimistic.
You can get the KABC app. You can get the KSFO app. No matter what, you'll have so many different ways to listen to us bash LA's worst mayor of all time.
If you're feeling down, if you're feeling blue, Let's get help for you.
And that's saying something because our last mayor was this jackass.
I received things on both ends.
And right now it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And the first edition takes us to a jewelry store in Anaheim.
Smash and grab attempt. Owner says, no, shoots a gun into the air.
And you know what? And I've predicted this before, and I'm going to predict it again because the powers that be in this state don't know what kind of fire they're playing with. None of these people can afford insurance. None of them. Every time we do a story about a jewelry store being robbed, they all say the same thing. They're either without insurance or underinsured because it's so expensive. So when these criminals break in and steal the jewels and steal the gold, these people have nothing left. And what we learn whenever there's an arrest that's made is that the people, generally speaking, who are breaking into these jewelry stores are caught. We find out that they're here illegally and they're part of a professional organized crime ring. Many of them are from the country of Chile. And if you're going to allow these professional criminals to go in and steal from jewelry stores that don't have insurance, and if they get robbed, they lose their ability to make a living, at a certain point, they're going to fight back. And they're going to fight back with weapons, and the last thing you want are shootouts all over the place. But that's what you're going to get if you don't figure out a way to stop this from happening.
For more, here is Fox 11 News in Los Angeles.
A shocking robbery attempt in Anaheim caught on camera. At least 20 people in broad daylight trying to bust into a jewelry store. But this time, the owner stopped the heist in just seconds. Good evening to you. I'm Susan Hirasuna. Fox 11's Matthew.
See, this would be a great point to say the California Crime Blotter is brought to you by Smith & Wesson. Sales.
Good evening to you. I'm Susan Hirasuna. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf is live in Anaheim with the dramatic video and tonight's top story. Matthew.
Well, Susan, this was very intense. In that surveillance video, you can see at least 20 people trying to bust through this door right here, many with sledgehammers, until someone inside fired back.
There's a crew of 20 people in the middle of the day trying to smash up a jewelry store?
I'm telling you, these are organized crime rings. These are people who do this professionally.
But when you have that many people, let's say this was successful and they made off with a big ol' heist, which just happened to a different jewelry store in Anaheim very recently. Are they splitting that up evenly 20 ways, or are there going to be some fights?
Well, it probably goes to the boss and they get a cut.
A violent would-be smash-and-grab robbery stopped in seconds.
Every single one of them is covered in black from head to toe.
Watch again as at least 20 people wearing hoodies Thursday evening in Anaheim get out of 5 cars and swarm like hungry bees.
That's an accurate description.
Get out of 5 cars and swarm like hungry bees outside Elamira Jewelry.
When I watch the window, I see many people. I can't count it.
Inside, store employees run for cover, while outside, thieves with sledgehammers and bags try busting in until this moment. One gunshot, and everyone scrambles.
I take my gun, I shoot one bullet, I scare him, he moves it, and the problem is done.
There you go. And by the way, I know the cops will say, you're not allowed to do that. Don't do that. Don't fire your gun into the air. Had he not done that, they would have cleaned him out, and this guy would be in the poorhouse.
The owner doesn't want to show his face on camera for safety reasons.
Everyone's in the witness protection program now.
But according to Gavitt, everything's fine.
But he and his attorney called the shot self-defense.
He's willing to protect his business at all costs.
About a month ago, another robbery right across Brookhurst. Thieves driving a vehicle right through Basan Jewelry, stealing millions. 2 people arrested nearby, but the other getaway...
Don't Orange County crime stories just feel a little different?
Well, 2 people are arrested.
All the L.A. crime stories ends with no arrests were made.
That's not very far from where I grew up, by the way. Brookhurst.
2 people arrested nearby, but the other getaway cars still missing. The owner adding new security measures, telling us off camera the crooks stole more than $3 million worth of jewelry.
Everybody should be vigilant and careful. If they notice anything suspicious, they should speak, they should report so that, everybody's safe.
So sad. People, I think...
And they have to be accurate about the numbers because it's not like they would lie to inflate the numbers for insurance reasons. They don't have insurance.
No, they're playing with the cards face up here. And you know exactly what's going to happen. If one of these guys gets shot and dies, the town is going to burn because the news is going to use their high school graduation photo, and we're going to hear about what a pillar of the community they were, how they were having problems, but they were getting their life back together, and, they just came here from Chile for a better life, the whole thing. And then you're going to have politicians fanning the flames, and we're all going to be in a world of hurt.
So sad. People, I think, hungry and looking for big stuff.
No, that's not what this is.
No.
This isn't people are hungry.
Okay, I get it why the politicians lie and say that, but why is it that the victims are doing that too? It's like we've all internalized the beating that the state gives us on a regular basis.
Well, as much as we want to go after all the politicians who have this viewpoint, it takes an electorate to put those people into office that must have a similar viewpoint.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem because the people have to change how they see the world. They have to change how they vote. Otherwise, you're going to end up with the Newsoms and the Basses, and they feel the same way. They feel that, these people are just poor and trying to feed their families, and how can you blame them?
If somebody is crashing a Kia into a jewelry store to make off with millions of dollars in jewelry, those are not poor, unfortunate souls.
That's the framing.
For 30 years, Mohammed Salam has cooked food next to the targeted jewelry store.
It was like a movie.
Shocking situation now leaving many on alert.
They make me scared. I have to protect my business, family.
So far, no description has been given of those suspects, but we counted at least 21 people. We're live in Anaheim tonight. Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Matthew, it is just wild to watch that video, and clearly they were well organized, so they arrived at the same time. What else did you notice in watching that surveillance video?
Wait, organized? I thought Gavin Newsom said he got rid of all the organized retail theft in this state.
Oh, he did. That's why everything's so safe here and why all of us can buy insurance so easily.
That's why you go on a podcast in Tennessee where they don't know the facts.
Yeah, definitely well organized. And just speaking with this business owner, it sounds like they arrived to this location immediately after their last customer of the day was leaving. So they showed up right at that time, very targeted and planned out.
Yeah, ready with their sledgehammers and bags as well. Matthew, thank you so much.
So that's what's going on in Anaheim as one jewelry store was robbed. The jewelry store across the street know that was going to happen. When the smash and grabbers came, fires a warning shot, and they scatter.
And right now it's time to reopen the California crime blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And Randy, this one involves an ATM that went boom.
We head to San Ramon, where somebody tried to blow up an ATM inside a Target, which I feel like is a story that we did very recently in a different part of Northern California.
I'm telling you, at a certain point, they have to change their logo from being a bullseye to something else.
For more, here's NBC in the Bay Area.
An unusual burglary in San Ramon has not just police, but the FBI getting involved. Not only do investigators say thieves broke into a Target, but they also say they used an improvised explosive device to access an ATM inside. NBC Bay.
What happened in the good old days where you broke into a Target to steal a TV?
But they also say they used an improvised
I always have a very distinct memory. We did calls a few years ago on just what people see with all the shoplifting that was going on in California. And somebody called in that used to see at the Target in Upland, near where we did that remote that one time, people would literally just walk in, grab a TV, and walk out.
Unless you're on supermarket sweeps, you're not supposed to do that.
But they also say they used an improvised explosive device to access an ATM inside. NBC Bay Area's Alyssa Gord brings us the latest from the store.
Here in the Bay Area, we've seen people use cars, chains, and tools to break into ATMs. But what happened here is different. Investigators say that the suspects used an explosive device.
We're bombing ATMs now.
I'm telling you, I don't know when it happened, but at a certain point in time, this entire state just turned into the setting for every Looney Tunes cartoon imaginable.
And while obviously it's not Target's fault, why does Target need an ATM to begin with?
Yeah, that seems like something you'd see in a smoke shop.
These things are nothing but liabilities at this point. It's this kind of crap that's going to push us to a cashless society.
Thanks, Target.
People looking to do quick Sunday errands at the Target off of Bollinger Canyon in San Ramon were surprised to be turned away.
I saw all this police tape, all these police cars as well.
I was shocked because Target's never closed, especially on a Sunday night.
Shoppers were also shocked to learn
It's been a pretty bad couple of years for Targets.
It's been a bad couple of years for basically all of retail.
Specifically Target, though. Remember the one in Vallejo?
Our Target was set on fire.
Well, they're also headquartered in Minneapolis, and after the George Floyd situation, they had some problems there, let's say.
And this was the Target in the East Bay.
How ghetto does it look that they have to lock up the socks?
Shoppers were also shocked to...
In fact, wasn't it a Target where Gavin got into a fight with that employee?
It was, because the Target was getting robbed as he was checking out, and the cashier blamed the governor.
Shoppers were also shocked to learn why the store was closed. San Ramon police say at around 2:20 Sunday morning, officers responded to a burglary at the store, then found someone used an improvised explosive device to access the ATM. It's unclear if they were able to get away with cash. The store was closed at the time, and police say no one was hurt.
It's just crazy that something like that would happen here because it's such a quiet town.
Police called...
It was, till it went boom.
Well, as soon as the crooks saw the ATM, they said, all right, there's some sticks of dynamite we can find.
Police called the FBI for help, and our cameras spotted the FBI evidence response team looking around the store. Target sent us a statement saying, in part, we are grateful that no one was harmed.
It sounds like a movie plot.
Investigators haven't shared anything about the suspects or whether they've been taken into custody. They also didn't say anything about what kind of explosive device was used. But the blast did damage part of an entrance, which was filled with shattered glass earlier.
Did they actually get into the ATM?
Here's what I think they did. They used those sticks of dynamite that say Acme on it. The same ones that Wile E. Coyote likes to use.
Because if you think about it, you need to have a device that's powerful enough to open up the safe door, but not so powerful that you burn up all the money inside.
Yeah, if you open up the ATM, but you burn up all the cash, what's the point?
Before getting boarded up. We also saw dozens of people with restoration crews working there for hours.
This kind of things, just makes you think that these things can happen anywhere.
Police say there's no immediate danger to the community, but they're asking...
There is if you happen to have a shop that has an ATM.
Yeah, because then you're a sitting duck.
Police say there's no immediate danger to the community, but they're asking anyone with information about this to get in touch with them. As for this Target, it's slated to open back up at 7 a.m. on Monday morning. In San Ramon, Alyssa Gord, NBC, Bay Area News.
So there you go. Yet another Target break-in that leads to a assault on the ATM. The last one, which I think was San Rafael, was they broke into the Target so they could drive into the Target to try to crash into the ATM.
I have a prediction for you. If they don't figure out a way to shut this down, ATMs are going to become about as scarce as payphones. Because why in the world would you have an ATM in your shop that then turns you into a target, to borrow a term, for all of the crooks so that they will go into your store and not the store next to you that doesn't have the ATM? And at this point, who is it that's operating in a cash economy? How many sales are you going to miss out on because your customers only want to use cash? Most people like using their credit card so they can get their airline miles, hotel miles. They can keep records of where they're spending their money. If there's a dispute with the shop and they want to bring it back and you won't take it back, they can dispute it with the credit card company. There are all these extra layers of security and add-ons that you get by shopping with a credit card over cold hard cash. So since that's where most people are, and just observe the next time you go to the grocery store or you go to a Target or a Walmart or whatever, how many people pay with cash compared to credit cards? Most people pay with credit cards.
I think to my past, nowadays, I almost never have cash unless I know I'm going to a restaurant I'm going to have to valet. And even some of those guys are doing Venmo now. But in my 20s, I took out cash all the time to buy things that I wasn't supposed to be buying.
So there's no record of it.
You can't buy certain drugs with a credit card now, can you?
But if you're one of these people who consciously decides that you're going to use cash for everything, don't you go to the bank and make sure you have cash on you because you can't count on having an ATM wherever it is that you are?
Well, in any of those ATMs inside a Target or a 7-Eleven, they're going to charge you $5 to withdraw a $20. It's robbery right there.
No, those ATMs are going to go the way of the dodo.